And Jason, do you follow a specific diet? And I'm curious when it comes to fasting, what's a typical day look like for you?
I don't follow, I'm sort of low carb, not fully, I'm not like super low carb. I tend to not be too rigorous about the diet because there's many different diets that can work. Like if you look around the world, so if you go back again to the 70s, because that's a time when there's just not a lot of obesity, you have places in the world that are eating a lot of rice, like Asia, for example. You have places that are eating a lot of potatoes, perhaps in Ireland or something like that. And you have places that are eating a lot of fish. And, every cuisine has sort of different emphasis, and they all did well. The key was that they weren't eating all the time, is the main key, and two, they weren't eating a lot of sugar. Once you introduce a lot of sugar and processing into the diet, that's where things go wrong. So really, I try not to be too um, strict on the macros so much, but really strict on the sugar and not eating all the time. And that's sort of the main thing. So I will eat sort of all different foods, but I try to eat as natural as I can. And also I try to avoid the carbohydrates because carbohydrates in North America tends to be relatively refined. So that's the main thing that I try to watch out for in terms of the diet. And it's the same thing I wrote in the obesity code, right? The 1 and 2 is like, eat natural foods and cut down the sugar. That's probably the two most important things. And then don't eat all the time. Carbohydrates, yes, they do play a role, but they tend to play probably not as big a role. So therefore, even though I try not to eat as much I eat far less carbohydrate than I used to. For example, it's not something that I will just completely cut out for whatever reason. So a typical day is sort of like I don't eat breakfast. Like I don't eat breakfast most days, honestly, and that was never just because I was trying to lose weight. It's mostly because I like to sleep more than I like to get up and eat, and I'm not that hungry. So why would I eat when I'm not hungry? It makes no sense to me. And then I try to not snack during the day, and then I'll eat lunch and dinner, or many times I'll do something at lunch. I'll work through lunch instead, and then therefore I'll just eat dinner. And that's about it. And that gives me a little bit more flexibility in terms of the foods that I can eat. And then once in a while, especially when I've gone on holidays or something, I might do a little bit longer fasting. So again, it just allows me more flexibility to eat different foods, which I enjoy.
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
The thing about exercise is that it's extremely good for you, but the weight loss is benefits are marginal. From a scientific mathematical standpoint,